As you can tell, there have been a few changes. Well, no, there hasn't, that's a lie. The only change is that I've got a new microphone, a wireless one, because my other one, that was failing me to a great extent, and it was also irritating me. We are back, we are up and running again, hopefully no more technical difficulties. I'm going to be holding it here, just because I can't attach the microphone to me, because my hair gets in the way of it, and it creates this, like, muffled volume. I swear to God, if I go to edit this video and the audio is crap, I'm going to commit a crime. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind. Last year, the amount of money that I spent on various microphones was actually hilarious. Last year was an absolute bad omen. Yeah, the Grim Reaper was working overtime. Everyone's mental health was slipping, including my own. My anxiety was at an all-time high. As time went on, things just kept getting worse and worse, to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not posting anything until this year's over. And also, I've recently been getting comments on my old videos from like a year ago. I've got people saying thank you for covering this case. I was related to this victim, and those comments really do mean a lot to me because it shows that people are watching, they are listening, and hopefully some of these unsolved cases can actually get solved. Hey, it's Mel, hope you're doing well, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the disappearance of April Fabb. We've not covered a missing persons case in a while. This case occurred in 1969 between the villages of Metton and Roughton in Norfolk. In 2018, a play called Into Thin Air was inspired by April's disappearance. There's a lot to cover, so let's get into it. April Fabb was born on the 22nd of April 1955. She was a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Her parents were Ernest and Olive Fabb. She had two older sisters called Pamela and Diane, and they are still to this day searching for answers. April also had a family terrier dog called Trudy. At the time of April's disappearance, her sisters had already moved out. The Fabb family lived at 3 Council House in Metton. April was a very shy, animal-loving person who enjoyed stamp collecting, needlework, music, and watching Top of the Pops, which is an iconic show. She was described as being a good girl. April disappeared on Tuesday, the 8th of April, 1969. At 1:40 p.m, she left her house to visit her sister's house in Roughton, but sadly, April would never make it to her sister's house. She travelled by bike, and this is a huge part of the story. On her, April had a handkerchief, her saddlebag, and a pack of 10 cigarettes, which she planned on giving to her brother-in-law as a birthday present. April had short, light brown hair, she was 5'4", had blue eyes, and was last seen wearing a green jumper, a red and maroon skirt, white socks, sandals with red straps and brass buckles. As April left Metton to ride to her sister's house, she saw two friends petting a donkey next to Harrison's farm, on Cromer Road in Metton. She stopped to say hello and to pet the donkey, and then 10 minutes later she resumed her journey. Just after 2 p.m, an employee at the farm saw April riding her bike along the country road towards Roughton. April was seen by the driver of a Land Rover passing in the opposite direction as she left the hamlet at 2:06 p.m. This female witness, I'm going to assume they had just been to a restaurant called the Hamlet. This is the last sighting of April being alive. Then at 2:15 p.m, April's blue and white bike was found lying in a field near Metton by 2 Ordnance survey workers in a van, which is like a mapping agency. The bike had been thrown over a 6-foot water bank on the country lane just a few hundred yards from where April was last seen. At 3 p.m, a local man driving his mum home saw April's bike and took it to a police station in Roughton. All of April's belongings were still in her saddlebag. Her disappearance occurred within 10 minutes. By 10 p.m, April had still not returned home and her parents grew concerned. They called the police and she was reported missing. Despite a huge and intense police investigation and search of the surrounding area, no trace of April was found, and the reason for her disappearance remains unknown. The police searched 400 houses, did hundreds of interviews, but this ultimately led to nothing. The only clue that they had at the time was a white bloody handkerchief embroidered with the letter A, but it was later found out that this handkerchief actually belonged to a woman who used it on her son's grazed knee. The police were back to square one. The case went cold, but the newspapers continued covering the case. April's possessions remain in an evidence store at Norfolk Constabulary. The police think April was abducted by a predator passing through Meton, or by a local man who wasn't in police sights enough. You gotta bear in mind that back then, all the police had was witnesses. There was no Google search, there was no CCTV. What's so sad and heartbreaking is that April's parents left her bedroom untouched, hoping that one day she'd come back home. April was happy with her life and her family. She didn't suffer any type of mental health. There's just no reason for her to run away. The police also don't think that she ran away. A lot of people to this day think April was abducted, me included. Today, April would be age 69 or 70, a fully grown woman. An age progression image was put out into the public. I'll put it up on screen. Sadly, April's mum and dad died without knowing what happened to their daughter. Her dad, Ernest, died in 1998 and her mum, Olive, died in 2013. At the time of the disappearance of 13-year-old Janet Tate in August of 1978, Norfolk Constabulary pointed out to Devon and Cornwall police that there were strong similarities with April's case. Both cases are unsolved and no link between the two has ever been proven. Child killer Robert Black was questioned over the two disappearances. He died in 2016. Are we upset about that? No. When he died, he was the prime suspect in Jeanette's disappearance. She is assumed to have been killed. April's case happened nearly 56 years ago, and her body has never been found. No one has ever been charged in this case. In 2011, there were reports that a man had been seen digging a grave nearby on the Easter weekend of 1969. I just realised that next month is April, and it's going to be April's birthday. That's so sad. Many locals still believe that April's body had been disposed of at construction works at the Bacton gas terminal. However, police say they have searched the pipelines and nothing has ever been found. There is a memorial of April by the door of the church she used to attend in the village. Maurice Mawson inherited the case in 1983 and went on to write a book about it. The headstone was funded by the proceeds of the book, which is really nice. That's all for today. That was the case of April Fabb. And if you want to leave an anonymous phone call or a tip or just anything in the contact information down below, it would really help. And I think the family would really appreciate it. Like I said, someone out there knows something. Feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.